Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Healthy Entrepreneur Show. My name is Maxine Choy, and tonight we're going to be having conversations with Donna Savage about the topic of our sexual health. And I am so excited because this is part two of the sex health series that the Healthy Entrepreneur wanted to address because of the need for us to be aware of how important it is for us to take care of our health in every aspect. So, meaning our mental, spiritual, physical, financial, environmental, and most importantly, our sexual health. So, we wanted to bring Donna here to just talk openly about a few things that I'm sure that everybody is going to want to hear about. Excuse me while I just turn the noises down from my phone. I think I'm having a lot of dings go off. Sorry about that. So I'm going to introduce Donna. Donna, welcome to the Entrepreneur Show, Healthy Entrepreneur Show. And my name is Maxine Choy again, like I said. And this show is about helping entrepreneurs to take time to look after their health and their well-being in every area, helping and sharing our own experiences on what we do on a daily basis just to keep our health in check. So Donna
Sure.
Savage, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Donna, you are a sensuality coach,
That's right.
right? So I would love to hear more about that.
So, in terms of when I say I'm a sensuality coach, is to bring in awareness to self and understanding who you are and just bring that feminine energy forth.
So bring
So as a sensuality coach, I teach people to believe in themselves and to accept themselves, and just to be open to the possibilities of what's out there.
oh so so you essentially you teach people to get to know themselves, accept themselves,
hmm
and be open to possibilities. So can you tell me a little bit about when you say to know yourself and accept yourself?
So to know yourself is to be yourself, is to understand who you are as a person. So many times, Maxine, as you know, people have no clue where they're going or where they're coming from. And you can't go anywhere if you don't know where you're coming from. And the number one thing is understanding this physical body that's standing or you're looking at every day, this physical body that you wake up to, this physical body that you bathe, and a lot of people still have this question of who I am or where am I coming from? Why am I here? So in terms of that, we have to accept our feminine energy or feminine self to understand the possibilities of who we are.
Hmm. So then how do you do this when you help women, and maybe I don't know if you help men as well? How do you incorporate this? How do you incorporate this into your practice by helping them to understand? Because you did say that some people don't know if they're coming or going. And are you talking in terms of in a sexual way, like learning to know your body and the signs and to be comfortable? Is that what you mean?
I you know what? It's a broad area.
Mm-hmm.
Number one thing is, Maxine, that our sexual energy is one of the highest energy out there. And if we can't come to realize that, there is no point in going anywhere. You know what I mean? A lot of us women, minorities, black women, can't even say the word sex
Hmm.
without feeling uncomfortable. Let's say, for
Okay.
instance, you decide that you're going to have a mantra about self. Even the simplest thing of having a mantra said, I'm going to be a millionaire, they stutter. I want
Okay.
to have amazing sex. They
Okay.
stutter because
Okay.
it's the belief in themselves. So how are
Okay.
you going to believe in yourself about certain things without fixing the problem first? And the
Okay.
problem start with us.
Yourself.
hmm
So your focus is getting people to fix themselves, become more aware of who they are, what this body is that they're walking in, and basically how to embrace it. So here's a burning question for you, Donna. Um, what crisis or self motivation that what that propelled you to do this, to be on this journey of sensual healing? Talk about sex with
Girl,
me, because I know
we could be
you
on
talk
here
about sex.
forever, but
Pardon me?
we won't. I said we could be on here forever if I tell you about my sexual journey, but I'm going to put it up in a nice ball.
Yeah, give me about two
Maxine,
seconds then.
I am coming from a place of not knowing sexually. I didn't even know, and I'm going to mention it. I didn't even know about self pleasure. I didn't know how my body was supposed to feel during the course of having sex. I did not know what intimacy meant, you
Okay.
know? So that's where my journey began. So after marriage and after self discovering and unlearning and try and figuring so many things out is whenever it's, when you have that aha moments like, oh my God, oh my God, So, but it all start with how you're grown up and who you surround yourself with. I
Right.
mentioned earlier that, talking about sex is a no-no for so many,
Right.
giving yourself praises and saying how beautiful I am was also a no-no.
Right.
So a lot of things is that we're just so brainwashed in thinking that we're just here to exist but not live. So my journey and where and how I became into this business is through self exploration and understanding and where is it that I want to go. And I want to feel amazing. I want to feel what a true woman is and not taking it
Absolutely.
from somebody else
We
because
all do.
your feeling of fulfillment and embodiness is going to be different than mine,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So that's where my journey is because why do I want my girl children or my sister girlfriends or my girlfriend girlfriends going
Yes.
through the hassle of thinking that there is something wrong with them? And we know there's nothing wrong with them.
Okay. So you went through a period in your life where you felt that you didn't know what was happening with you, where you were going, and even maybe in your own relationship. So you thought, so this is where it led you to this, where you're
This
now helping women on this journey to discovering self.
Maxine, I'm going to do a quick thing for you. When I got pregnant at 21, I wasn't embarrassed that I was pregnant. You know what I was embarrassed about? That people are going to know I was having sex.
Oh, okay.
This
So
brain, this big organ right here, and what people say put an impact on us so much that we're not aware. You know what I mean?
is that why you said that some women, when they hear the word sex or even talk about the word sex, they get embarrassed? Is
It's
that coming from a place from you? Is from
no,
what
it's
you've been
coming from
through?
a place of who you surround yourself in, the church,
Okay,
because sex was supposed to be a form of procreation, not for pleasure.
right,
Number one, it's for procreation and that's it. So
right,
this was the brainwash that was down on us for many, many, many generations,
right,
even before we existed from our ancestors. Because remember, they were just supposed to be a breeding pot.
right.
That's it. There was no pleasure. So what
Okay,
happened is it just keep forwarding and keep forwarding, and on our people, and we keep gravitating to that,
right.
and
Okay,
it felt safe. And
right.
anything that's felt is feeling safe, people don't want to change.
Exactly. You're right. People are safe with being complacent and not changing environment or partners or whatever the case may be. They feel
Hmm.
that they need to be in a relationship or a situation because they're afraid of what might happen if they do change. And
Hmm.
I mean, the only thing that it's I read something recently and I just hope I can remember it specifically, but it said a year from now, or no, sorry, think about what you were worried about a year from now. You know what? Forget. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it really resonated with me because it was like all the things you think about either a year from a year ago, or even when you were younger, or even when you're in a situation that you worried or you feared. When you think about it now, you'd wonder, like, why was I so worried? Why was I so afraid? So,
So I get it.
yeah. So Donna, I've got some questions for you, and we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the show. So James Gregg just said the church is so guilty of judgment of
Yes, it
sexuality.
is. Yes, it is.
Yes, I was involved in helping somebody with a wedding, and the pastor was very adamant about not mentioning anything that was um, outside of the holy matrimonial sexual partner type of, like, he was just so adamant about not bringing sex into the whole picture in a weird way. But anyway, we won't get into that. Okay, so as we know, right, sexual health it's a part of life. We
Yes.
all need to have sex. Every human being on this planet has a sexual desire. Our bodies are made up with that um, chemical that we need to be released. We need to be pleasured, even if it's just a touch, or even if it's just intimately just speaking to each other. Right? It's so important for our mental health, and also for physical, intellectual, emotional, psychological, and our social health. Because you know how you know that back in the day when we used to work at the office, and we would come to the office skipping, and you say, "Oh, what did you do last night?" Or you look very happy, and the person would say, "Yeah, I got laid." Right? And I used to always wonder. I was I was in my 20s when I started working in the corporate world, and I remember hearing that. And I mean, at that time, I mean, you're in your 20s, you don't really think about it that way. But the older you get, you're like, now I see why they said that. Because when people were having these stressful jobs or stressful situations, or even if their relationship was in a way that it wasn't satisfying, whether it was a marriage or casual relationship, whatever it is, but that area of their life was always the one that would give them the most energy and vibrancy and zest and pep in their step. So we definitely know how important it is to have sex. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, now that we're in COVID and people are cooped up, whether you're cooped up with your partner or by yourself, what are you seeing the trend in terms of women or men reaching out to you for anything, whether it's for advice in their own sexual relationship or even for pleasure, for like the toys, for instance? So what are you
Okay,
seeing?
so what I've been having with my clients, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think COVID is the best time to sit down, reflect, and restart. Um, I know people get in their head and say, I need people, I need hugs. Yes, we do. But at the same time, this is the perfect time for you to get to know who you are. What is it that
Absolutely.
you like? And let's talk about single people who's out there by themselves right now. Get to
Right.
know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out so much things because number one is, if you're going to be missing someone or feeling bored, you're not comprehending
You're
that,
not
you know what,
you're not getting
things need
inward.
to be fixed
Mm-hmm.
and that I need to go inside and figure
Mm-hmm.
things out. I'm by
Right.
myself during the whole COVID, and
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, this is the most powerful time it has for me. You
Absolutely.
know, for couples, it's a new way to start all over again and figure some stuff out and start bringing some new stuff in the bedroom. Figure some different tricks and trades and places, and but you have to be open minded. And then what I realize with society is we live in a box. We do not know how to jump out of the box and figure things out. I need somebody to tell me what to do. But I can tell you something, Maxine, the minute you sit down and realize that, you know what, I am the issue, let me work on me, then things are going to change. And I'm not saying it's easy. Listen, it took me
Right.
20 odd years to figure it out. And so
Yes.
this is where I come in to have that conversation. You know what I mean? It's about a me time. It's about self reflection. It's about understanding. I mean, we all spoke about 20, let's say about 80% of women don't even have orgasm.
Yes.
Majority of them, if they do have clitoral orgasm, do not have penetrative orgasm.
Right.
Why is that? Is
Yes.
it because what? So this is the plate down there. You have this solitude, you have this time after work or whatever by yourself.
Mhm.
Figure it out.
Right.
There's nothing
So
wrong in figuring it out. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's okay. I'm
Hmm.
thinking that's fine. I wanted to just kind of figure out how how has it your business been since COVID? Has
My
it
business has
increased?
been good. The toys are coming off the shelves.
You sell toys as well.
Um, yeah, the toys are coming off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation wise in terms of self-healing and self-love and understanding self is
Right.
that was a big part. That for me blew up as well.
Mhm.
Didn't expect it, because I'm thinking, okay, everybody just sitting and relaxing and seeing what's going on. But you'd be surprised how many lonely persons are out there. And in terms of when I said lonely, I mean in terms of not understanding themselves and thinking that they
Okay.
need somebody to complete them, you know? So
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's what I meant by being lonely. Because I remember my times I would get lonely back in the days, and the first thing that I would go on if I'm not dating is a dating website because I need somebody to talk to, or I believed I needed someone to talk to,
Okay.
because of what I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm bored.
Okay. So in terms of the COVID pandemic situation,
Mhm,
most people are dealing with loneliness and boredom,
mhm.
and you're finding that you're trying to get them to just get inward more and learn to just appreciate this time,
Appreciate the
to get
time.
to know yourself. That,
Yeah.
you know what, I really do think that's a great advice
Mhm.
that you give people, because um, people sometimes would go into a panic, or
Yes.
they get worried about their future, and whether this whole pandemic or whatever situation is going to ruin their life. But they can't really. They have to sit down and really think about the benefits of it. I believe that any situation that you get yourself into, I believe there's a lesson that's learned in it,
Every
right?
lessons. And the thing about it too, Maxine, is why people are getting panicky is because they're looking so far ahead. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking to the future
Mm-hmm.
versus understanding and being in the now of no
Right.
mind and being in the
Right.
now and accepting this presence. So if you
Right.
start looking to the future, that's when the panic
Mm-hmm.
attack comes in. What?
Right.
What's going on? You know what I mean? And then that's when
Right.
you start feeling pressured and unhappy. But the
Okay.
minute you're just living in the now, it's a total different experience.
Okay. I want to go back to that statement you made about not many women have orgasms.
Mm.
And what do you advise? How do you go through that with women? Because I know that there's breath work that's created for that,
Shh.
and then there's different
I'm
therapy that
sorry.
people actually. Somebody came in. Different therapy that people use to get to that level of pleasure, right? So, what is your opinion on that about women?
Maxine, you knocked the nail on the head. The number
Mm,
one reason is breathing.
yes, breathing. Yeah, for sure.
Breathing bring awareness.
Right.
Breathing bring presence. And the thing about it is everybody have that moment of not breathing. Okay,
Yes.
so we breathe to live. So we're breathing normally. But people have to understand we have to go back to when babies, remember babies, newborn babies, so fast they're breathing? It's the in and out. We don't do that because we hear a knock. We stop. We get a surprise news. We stop. Our breath stops. So we're not breathing properly. But the moment that you get into the mood of breathing properly, and I'm not talking from diaphragm, I'm talking from the kundalini, I'm talking from way down. Breathe in and breathe up and bring up that sexual energy and understanding, you know, one of my meditation that I do every morning is breath work.
Absolutely. Every morning,
We have to do
and you
breath
have to
work,
do
and I'm
them
not
in the
talking about
diaphragm. They have to
yeah,
do them
we
in the
have to. We're
diaphragm.
not talking about we're talking some fire breath,
Yes.
and it wakes up some stuff in your system. It also the thing about even your stomach, your womb, and that I teach a lot on is where we carry our memories of
Mhm.
our unhappiness. The breath work alone and mindfulness of being aware, Maxine, changes.
Mhm.
But in order for anything to change, we have to be aware of the situation.
Yep.
If
Right.
we're not aware of the situation, we can't fix it. We
Right.
have to be aware.
Absolutely, I agree.
Hmm.
Natanya Peterkin says breathing is the key. Absolutely, it
Yes,
is
my
definitely
sister.
the key.
Yes.
Right, and
Not to break you, but Natanya, I met her maybe 4 or 5 years ago,
okay.
and I went for a massage, a hot stone massage, right? But we clicked like, I think we knew each other from eons. I think we just came back on this earth and met up again. And I went on her chair, Natanya, she can attest to this 5 years ago. And so she was done her massage and she said, lie on my back and she was going to give me a reflexology. And she
Mhm.
looked over and she said, sis, you're not breathing. I said, yes, I am. She said, no, sis, you're not breathing. And she put my hand on my stomach. So I was not breathing. Like I'm
Right,
breathing, but you know what I mean? But I'm not
you're
breathing.
not breathing.
You
Like
know what I mean?
really,
And it dawned
exactly.
on me at that point that I was not breathing.
Yes.
And mind you, at that point, I was having orgasms. Okay, just put it that
Right.
way. I was having orgasms.
I thought you meant you were having an orgasm at
No,
that
no, no,
time.
no, no. So
Mm.
I deflect for a
You
little
were
bit, so I'm going to go
experiencing
for it. So,
orgasms on a
so
regular
what
basis.
happened? So, and if I was having orgasm, by that's just mini breathing, right? So when she started teaching me the correct way of breathing, and I've been going to a couple of yoga classes and doing all of that, and then when I experienced the actual true reality of true breath
Right.
and understanding is when everything changes. It
Absolutely.
changes,
Yes, it is.
you know?
Breath work, it does
Yeah.
really work.
Breath work is amazing.
Definitely is. Okay. So, sales have gone up. Okay. So then what are you finding with dating? People who are dating during COVID.
I
I
don't see anything wrong with it because I dated it through COVID. It is what it is. Listen, COVID is, we have to have precautions. It is what it is. Um, you have people who prefer just getting to know, and I think it's a perfect time you can get to know persons online. This
yeah,
is where conversation comes in. This
right,
is me getting to know you more.
right,
This is where, we're going to carry our feelings on our sleeves, on our shoulders, and be authentic of who we are. So
right,
no pretense, no, okay, I see you, boy, look at girl, girl, look at boy, we start getting horny, we're going to sleep together. We have no idea who this person is.
right.
You know what I mean? So COVID is a good time to date and have
Yeah,
authentic conversation and to know who this person is. I remember one guy reached out to me and he said, "How is the dating going?" And I said, "Fine." He said he can't deal with it. He's dating and he needs a physical touch. He wants to have sex. And I said, "But this is an opportunity, the best opportune time for you to know the
to
person." He
get
said,
to
"No, he
know.
was not into that."
I see.
He,
So,
right?
I mean,
He
I
was
think
not into that.
so. I mean, I think I can attribute that to the fact that it's a new norm for everybody, and some people are adaptable and some people are not, and it's what the expectations that they have with regard to having a partner. Because I believe that you can. I think it's a great way to foster any relationship. I truly believe
Of
in
course.
making a connection with somebody on an intellectual level first before I even get to the physical. And I'm probably like the biggest nerd out there when it comes to that because I don't. I feel that once you can connect mentally and spiritually and all that, then the intimacy comes so natural because I think it's there and it's there. The physical attraction is there in the beginning, but why not just put it aside for a little bit and get to know each other? I think that's to me that's better than anything else.
It sounds nice, Maxine. And go with that if it works for you. It sounds really nice.
No, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
it sounds delicious. I'm not knocking you. Everybody's different.
Oh
It's for
no,
me, I'm sapiosexual. You give me your brain and that would turn me off, turn me on. Like I remember back in the days, physical attraction was what turned me on. But this stage of my life is have an intellectual conversation with me.
absolutely.
So
So
I get I get where you're going, but I can go on, and I've known people who have gone on dates the first time, and all they do face to face and have amazing conversation,
exactly.
amazing
So,
conversation.
so what I meant was during COVID, and because the situation is what it is, I think it's a perfect way for people to harness that type of approach
I
when it
agree.
comes to
I
relationship,
agree.
as opposed to like if it wasn't for COVID, boy meets girl, they meet up, they go somewhere. He looks at her, she looks at him. I think you're cute. I think you're cute. Next thing you know, want to come back to my place, like whatever. And then this is the physical happens, and then couple of things could happen. You either love it or you don't. You don't know how to say, thanks, but see you, bye bye. All kinds of things. And then, of course, we end up finding out certain things about that person that we may not like. So, and that's because we had access to dating somebody and expediting the relationship further than it actually is ready to develop.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, Maxine,
So I
but I'm
think
gonna tell
COVID
you
is a great
something.
time.
COVID is an amazing time to know people, but like I'm telling you, men are very patient, very patient. Unlike women, we met a guy and oh, it click. Guess what? Most women are thinking about we're going to be walking on the aisle, we're going to live together. Men are not like that. Men and women are wired differently.
Well,
So
I am aware of that.
now you're having this beautiful conversation, and oh my God, we're on the same page. This is amazing. After COVID, we're going to hook up together and we're going to live happily ever after. No, it doesn't work like that. Because woman's brain and man's brain are two different things. You may feel that
Absolutely.
way, and he feels that way in his mind. I can't wait to drop her on her back. And the minute some of them, I'm not speaking about all men, because you do have some amazing, beautiful men who are okay with this kind of relationship. And yes, it may work out. But on the other coin, we have to be realistic. It can also not happen the way you are talking. It can also happen that as soon as he gets it, he's gone. And this is where the whole ghosting thing comes in. It sounds nice and it sounds like a storybook, but we have to be realistic and we have to realize that everybody's brain doesn't wire the same.
Absolutely not. I mean, I guess my point is that I believe that because we're in COVID times, and if we are following the rules and not meeting up and we're following the social distance protocol, it means that we are now forced to have a relationship over the phone or video or what have you. So I think this is a time for anybody who is looking to have a relationship with somebody is to use that time to get to know them so that as you start to go to the next level in your relationship, you would have passed some of the things like getting to know their history or their likes and dislikes. All kinds of things will benefit the relationship as opposed to in the past where you would meet up real quick, get together real quick, do things real quick,
Not
right?
necessarily, you know what? Not necessarily, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It works both ways. I hear what you're saying.
So
I do.
Tanya just said it's like COVID has forced the 3-month rule. Yes, I kind of
For,
believe that.
s-
But in
it,
some
it,
cases,
for some, because I'm going to tell you, when your body mechanism starts saying, Jesus, I'm having this amazing conversation, and this girl or this guy's turning me on. Trust me, those ones that's having amazing conversation, rules are broken. Rules are right out of the door. You
okay.
know what I mean? But they're not going to call you and tell us, oh, this is what I did.
So, okay, so what about the rule about wearing a mask? There was a rumor going
Oh,
around.
from
That
that premiere, whoever
the
she
doctor
was, listen to me.
can.
She can go ahead and wear her mask, but I'm not wearing a mask, especially with someone that I'm with. No, I'm sorry. No, even if we'll figure things up, but I'm not wearing a mask in bed. She can go right ahead.
I understand that. Okay, so Donna,
Mhm.
thank you as an entrepreneur
Yes.
and being in the field that you're in.
Hmm.
What is your what advice would you give somebody for anybody who's having trouble in the bedroom, any kind of struggle? I don't know what that could be. We could go on and there could be a whole bunch. There could be for a man, it could be ED, for a woman, it could be whatever. So what advice would you give?
For men, if they're having ED issues, call your doctor, because a lot of time when men are having ED issues, it could be stress related. Stress is one of the number one killer of anything. If
Hmm.
a woman is having issues, go to the doctor, figure it out, speak to people. There's herbalists out there, you know? And as I said earlier, this is a time to get to know who you are.
Right.
Do some self-care and some self-love. This is the perfect time to remember who you are and to have
Definitely.
that self-reflection on and what is it that I want. Again, I'm going to go back. If you're having issues with your sexual parts, either your penis, or you're not feeling attractive, or you're not getting wet, or you're not having orgasm, or you're not feeling that if euphoria, there's so many things out there that can help you.
Right.
So many things. I have herbalists that I can recommend you to, because there's nothing. The human body is amazing.
Right.
Maxine, you're into health and nutrition. The things that we put in our body is going to affect us eventually if you're not
Absolutely.
eating properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, it goes back to just health and wellness.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I mean, I would first want to think that if you're having any kind of struggle, whether and so you were talking about the physical aspect, right? Then definitely start to look on your diet and things like that. But in terms of couples who are even having an intimacy issue, maybe the fire is not there anymore. Maybe the attraction or whatever the case may be. Maybe the intimacy is not as frequent, especially now during COVID. Are you finding that people are coming to you and saying things like, listen, it's COVID time. I've been with my partner for whatever years. It's the same old thing. And I'm only bringing this up because I'll tell you why. When I coach a client and and the topic of sex health comes up, I get kind of invasive because it's very important that that part of their life or their lives is addressed, so that they can figure out how to bring that to their partner. Because a lot of times the partner will not admit to the other person that, hey, you know what, I'm bored, or I want to do something different. Right? So I make sure that I'm able to open up this conversation to the client so that they can figure out a way to bring it to their partner. So my question to you is, are you finding that now that we're in COVID times, couples are coming? You said that your toys are flying off the shelf. People are taking the time to reflect and get inwards. Are couples coming to you with questions or asking for advice about what to do to spice things up?
Yes, couples are coming to me in regards to spicing things up, but I'm going to be honest with you. The couples that are coming with me that are spicing things up have been together for years. You
Right.
mentioned conversation.
Mm-hmm.
One of the conversation is not, they're not having is if, are you still attracted to me? It's one of
Right.
the first thing that you have to talk about because
Right.
people stay together just because to stay together. It's cheaper to keep her or it's cheaper to keep him. It is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
the conversation that we need to have, because I'm going to tell you, if you are in a loving, amazing relationship, you're going to figure shit out. You're going to figure out, let's have this conversation. Let's go on
Right.
Google and research what's amazing. Let's try
Right.
this new let's try this new techniques. Let's cook together. Let's send the kids away. It's COVID, but grandma, or lock the kids up and find some me time. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times what's happening is they forget how they met. They forget what brought them together. So it's up to the counselor or the coach to remind them. I'm going to tell you, a
Absolutely.
lot of times when we do remind them or said, what is it about Maxine that you loved in the beginning? You know, or what's going on now? Why are you not attracted? Why you guys are not, making up all these different sex positions?
Right.
What's going on? And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times is that because they're not communicating, they're not attracted to each other anymore. Can that be fixed? Yes, it can. But
The
we have
question
to
is
have. Mm?
that I get your point, but
Mhm.
like I said, if a man looks at his wife or girlfriend and says, "Hey, honey, I don't think I have that anymore," he's not going to say,
I
"I'm
have
not
what
attracted to you."
anymore?
Well, here's my point. So you said if they can't say I'm not attracted to you anymore or whatever, they should be able to say that. But truthfully, a man is not going to look at his wife and say, "Honey, you know what? I'm not attracted to you anymore," so whatever. And and a woman is not going to do the same.
You'd
But
be surprised.
oh,
You see,
well,
this is the thing that I love about you, Sir Maxine. And since I get to know you, you just live in this beautiful little bubble, and it's so nice.
no,
it's it's so beautiful.
no,
People, listen. I've heard people said it through my session, but it's not attracted
absolutely,
to them. Listen, we're not talking about when I say attracted to you anymore. We're talking about the physical aspect. We're talking about behavior. So behavior is attraction.
absolutely,
So when somebody said, so if I say to you, Maxine, I'm not attracted to you anymore. So your retort would be, why? What's going on? Then
right,
what happens is it brings up a dialogue and it gets
absolutely,
deeper and deeper. But we
absolutely,
have to always be authentic in every relationship,
right.
especially a
So
married relationship. Sorry.
no, no, don't apologize. So let's go back to that part about a husband or a wife saying to her partner, "I'm not attracted to you anymore." Now, in a situation where it's a coaching session and maybe some things have to be revealed, that I think that's a time to bring it up, right?
Of
Because then you're peeling off the layers of what has happened. How can we process this? But I'm talking about just like Jim comes home and sees Betty in the kitchen, and Jim says, "Betty, I'm not attracted to you anymore."
Well, it's
That's
not. It's yeah. It's not gonna.
you know,
It's not gonna go like that.
I know it's not going to go that way. I'm just giving you an example. Couple by themselves, very unlikely that a man is going to just come outright and say it. He may have show his actions may indicate that because maybe he doesn't, try to engage that much. We're going to read the comments soon because I'm seeing some really good ones. Maybe so a woman will pick it up or a man will pick it up after a while when the husband or wife is not engaging as much. Maybe he's spending more time doing things just to avoid going to the bedroom when it's time. There's certain things that happen in relationships where it's they want to say it but they don't because they don't want to hurt the feelings because as you say once you start doing things like that in some relationships it can create some tension and some lack of trust or whatever the case may be. But having said that, you're right, it is a conversation to be had, it really is. But it should be had in a loving way so that the person understands that it's not necessarily a physical attraction that they're not attracted to. It could be that there is something that is not making them emotionally connect anymore. It's not making that person feel excited about the direction of the relationship. It's there's something that the person may have done in the past or continue to be doing that is affecting the way that the partner looks at them and admires and adores them. So in a relationship, and like I said, when I coach clients on this, I make sure that we address certain aspects of that person individually to figure out what it is that you need to be fulfilled in yourself and your partner, and why is it not being fulfilled? What happened, right? So
Okay,
that
you mentioned earlier that you okay, so I'm going to digress for a minute. So a person don't have to say I'm not attracted to you anymore. You even
right,
mention it. You even mention it. Even being ignored, that's him saying it out loud or
yeah,
she's saying it out loud.
right,
You don't have to basically be coming out to say I'm not attracted to you anymore.
absolutely,
Probably you have some who's going to say it, but then some your behaviors tell that there's something going on there, and
absolutely,
there's definitely going to be issues. Again, it still
absolutely,
goes right back to communication. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? How can someone be happy in a home when there's tension? You're feeling it, your husband is feeling it, and God forbid if you have kids, they're feeling it as well.
Absolutely.
Even if you're thinking that they're safe.
Right,
So in any aspect, however you want to communicate that there's issues in the marriage, it
right,
still leads down to communication.
exactly.
Anyhow you want to take it. And in
Right,
my sessions, I would have a man and a woman. They're doing it separately. We have to figure out our each person and then they come together because we
right,
cannot have both of them on the same session.
exactly.
So here we are, as you said, peeling the layer to
Hmm.
figure out what's going on.
Right,
And as you said, can you imagine having that toxic relationship in a time of COVID?
exactly. Not
So
easy because you
it's
can't,
definitely not easy. So
yeah,
now we have to pick our battles.
absolutely.
We have to choose
Yeah,
our battle.
right,
Are we going to go full steam ahead? Are we going to get help? But
absolutely.
somebody has to say something,
Yes,
because then you're going to be living in there, and this is where mental illness comes in. And God forbid if you're in an abusive home,
right.
you know?
We're going to get to the questions.
Go right ahead.
Can the producers produce one, please? Okay, so from Gail McLean, for sure, action speaks louder than argument. Body language, absolutely. I,
Yes,
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 and a lot of people. There's a lot of relationships that do lack that part of their communication because it's a tough one, right? They can communicate on every level and be fine, but then when it comes to that part, it may be a tough one, and it's maybe it's not necessarily that they don't it's a tough one because maybe they know their partner or maybe they know themselves or maybe the partner, like I don't know, I
fear.
think it's a
It's
tough one.
fear.
Fear, yeah,
It is fear.
yeah.
How you look at it, it's fear. He's either going to look after me or he's going to tell me something that I don't want to hear, or she going to tell me something that I don't want to hear. So
Right,
how do I approach this conversation?
exactly,
It's
yeah,
fear.
it's fear, yeah. No, and it's a normal human thing,
Of
right? We
course it
all fear.
is.
We
Of course
fear what
it
the
is.
outcome will be. We fear how the person will react, and
Mhm.
we don't want to hurt them. So, okay, so English Forbes says, please demonstrate breathing technique. Yeah, you know what? We're going to skip that one.
No, why?
Okay, go ahead. Give me a demonstration. We're past the time, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ask for the next one. We do his last. If there's more questions, let's go ahead and ask, and then we could do that
Okay,
at the
so
end if we have time.
we'll get back to you, English Forbes.
Yes.
Next question, please. Okay, so James Gregg says it is expected that the quality of the sex will fall the longer you are with your partner. Hmm.
Definitely. It will definitely fall, but you have to be open-minded to be
Yeah,
creative.
creative. Yeah,
And come
exactly.
out to the bedroom, find different areas of the house, go outside in the park, go in your car.
In the
We have
backyard.
to be exactly. We have to be playful.
Right.
Hmm.
Playful. Got it. Okay. Next question, please. James, that was a good question. Good point. So Natalia Peterkin says the way one used to communicate is not that effective as it used to be. Maybe they grow out of their old ways.
It's true because everybody has a growth. It's either you're going up or you're going to stay. You have some people who just plateau and that's it for them. And then a lot of times, I'm going to say it, guys, I'm going to say it, women surpass their men a lot of times. And the men are comfortable where they are. And then the women are just keep going and just keep going because they're growing. You know, who we surround ourselves with is who we're becoming. And if you surround yourself with amazing people, then it's going to change. Nice one, Natanya.
I think it happens both ways too.
I'm not saying no,
So,
but most time, Maxine, the women, because they have their tribe, men tend to keep things in, but women always have their tribe. You're going to come and say, Donna, you know what? This is what's going on. And as your tribe member, I'm going to say, try this. Men are not going to do the same thing. Men are totally different. Eventually, they'll get it. Eventually. That's my thought, anyways.
no, no, and it's taken.
Mhm.
There's another question that came up. Yes. So Tanya says, women in menopause, our sexual drive changes,
Yes.
decreases. It
Yeah.
is not a feeling of not being attracted to him anymore, more of a change we are going through.
And you are so right. And this is where we said, go to your herbalist.
Oh,
Because remember, yeah, go to your herbalist. Is it What's her name? Sorry. What was her name, Maxine?
Tanya, it's Tanya.
Tanya?
Yeah.
Tanya, go to your herbalist. You'd be so surprised what these herbalists can do. I have a supplement that's coming out in a couple months. I will definitely hook up with you. I can't remember. I guess I'll get your contact. But the herbalists are amazing. Maxine should know this. It's about holistic. It's how you're living. It's what you're eating. It's what you put into your body. And it will switch. It will switch. But if you're going to be eating the same things and doing the same things, you're going to start feeling a ways. And, you're going to be dry. You're not going to have that sexual urges, but your herbalist can fix it. Or your doctor, and they'll recommend different things to take. It's not the end all to be all. There's amazing things out there.
You're coming out with a herb?
Yes, it's gonna call it's I know. It's called Red Lotus, and what Red Lotus does is help women with their libido, help them with their wetness, help them with the endocrine system, and the endocrine system is basically your sex hormones. So it should be out in a couple weeks. It just came up because she asked a question.
No problem. Are there any more questions at all that we missed? Okay, so there's no more question. Is there any tip that you can leave for anybody who, Dashman says he's loving it. Is there a tip that you can leave for partners who are either new in a relationship or way in the relationship that can help them in terms of enhancing their sex life and or whatever it is? Um,
So for partners who are out there, especially if you're starting new, and I'm gonna say it until I'm blue. Communication, communicate, communicate, communicate. Body languages don't lie. If
mm,
you pay attention to your partner, there's something going on. Body language don't lie. And always figure things out to bring spice. I'm not even talking about sexual spice. I'm talking about just being happy in a happy surrounding. Especially
absolutely.
if you're new and you have kids too, then that's another addition on your partner, your female partner, because most of the time she's going to be taking 99.1% of looking after that child. So as
Yes,
your
yes,
as the male or the husband, you need to help and guide her around, because if you don't, then guess what? Her frustration is going to fall on you. So it's about keeping that intimacy. And when I said intimacy or sex, and when I say about sex, I'm not talking the physical, I'm talking about exchanging of energy, even having a conversation and understanding your partner. That alone, and helping out, that alone would fly out the roof. And I mean, if you don't talk to me or Maxine about your health and wellness, do Google. They have so many things out there that you can Google and figure things out to put some
right,
spice. And the thing
right,
about it, I know there is one thing I'm talking about, the five love languages. That's just a
right,
minute area of your partner's love language. You know, they're not talking about everything else, but that
right,
helps, at least as a guide into figuring out who your partners are. Take
right.
quizzes, figure things out, you
Mm-hmm,
know? And for the
mm-hmm.
older persons, the older couple, you too have to figure things out. Is this the person I want to be for the rest of my life? What is missing? But it all boils down to communication and
Yeah,
understanding.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Right. Well, Donna, this has been a wonderful conversation. We could go on for longer.
Yes,
We're
we could.
15 minutes over. But I do thank you for coming on the show. I hope that the audience has, maybe got some tips and they can reach out to you. If we can just put your information down, there we go. So to get in touch with Donna Savage, sensual coach and touch specialist, we've got her on Facebook and Instagram at Savage Desires, and the
Yes.
website is savagedesires.net. So, with that said, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Donna, for joining me.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
oh, more my pleasure, my pleasure. And thanks to the audience for watching. Thanks to the producers for managing this whole question part. So we're going to say good night, everybody. Thank you for watching and have yourself a wonderful evening. Bye bye.